Hey guys, and welcome to MMSA session on climate change. Today we'll be discussing what is climate change, what causes climate change, how it affects us, our health, what you can do, and the human rights and vulnerable groups involved. So let's begin. So what is climate change? So climate change refers to a long-term change in the average weather patterns that have come to define Earth's local, regional, and global climates. Now, global climate change refers to the average long-term changes over the entire Earth. These include warming temperatures and changes in rainfall, as well as effects of Earth's warming such as rising sea levels, shrinking of mountain glaciers, and ice caps melting at a faster rate than usual in the Arctic, Antarctica, and Greenland. Greenhouse gases like CO2, carbon dioxide, are normally stored by our forests like the Amazon. However, when carbon-absorbing forests are cut down and left to rot or burned, that stored carbon is released, contributing to global warming. Human activities such as burning fuel to power factories, cars, and buses are changing the natural greenhouse and overriding our natural stores, which leads to an acceleration of climate change and its effects. Now, climate change affects us on a social, economic, and health level. It affects the main social and environmental determinants of health, like clean air, safe drinking water, sufficient food, and secure shelter, which, when at risk, can lead to an increase in unemployment, poverty, and also result in conflict and war. Climate conditions can also strongly affect our health, and they strongly affect our access to clean water and food, which can lead to an increase in infectious diseases, since our access to clean water and food is at risk. This results in an increase in waterborne diseases and diseases transmitted through insects, snails, or other cold-blooded animals. Extreme heat and air pollution can also lead to an increase in heat stroke, respiratory, and cardiovascular problems. Pollen and other aeroallergen levels are also higher in extreme heat, and these can trigger asthma, allergies, and lead to an increase in non-communicable diseases. Extreme weather and climate-related natural disasters can also exacerbate mental health issues, impact migration, and lead to an increase in injuries. Now, when fighting climate change, there comes some health co-benefits. So if we constantly use alternative modes of transport like cycling, running, and walking on foot, we become fitter and healthier, which in turn results in less pollution because we're using less cars, less diseases, less expenses on the healthcare, and a generally more healthy population. So let's talk about which human rights are relevant when talking about climate change. These include the right to life, food, health, water and sanitation, and the right to housing. As we've discussed, climate change presents the single biggest threat to sustainable development worldwide and affects everyone. But the world's poorest and those in vulnerable situations tend to be disproportionately affected by environmental degradation. So, pregnant women and women in general are always vulnerable. Children, especially those in poorer countries, immigrant groups, indigenous people, people with disabilities, people with pre-existing or chronic medical conditions that are immunocompromised, elderly people, and homeless people are the most at risk. So let's think, what can we do? I want you to think about these 5 things that we can do at home or in our daily lives to combat climate change. Okay, so now that you've had time to think, let's go over a few that we have here. So you can reduce your carbon footprint, save electricity and water, go meatless 1 day a week or more, carpool and use other modes of transport, say no to plastic, and invest in renewable energy. So what did you think of? And what are you going to do now? Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this session on climate change. This is a reminder that we're all in this together, and a small step is still better than nothing. Please follow us on MMSA Malt on Instagram and check out our Facebook page and website to learn more about our activities and our journey. Thank you.